Sounds good. We'll have to edit that little piece out. We'll have to edit that little piece out of the show.
I think you probably should edit everything up to this point then.
Yep. We'll do it right now. We'll do the countdown and then we'll do the official welcome. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another CryptoManiacs podcast, streaming for your viewing pleasure on vim.tv. We're also on YouTube and on Twitter, and then it will be uploaded on 3Speak, You Speak, We All Speak for 3Speak, Taskmaster 4450. I'm John Go. How you doing, man? How's your week been so far? I heard you were very disturbed about potential news from the Michael Saylor camp. I heard that.
Yeah, that's been weighing on my mind. I don't know what's going to happen to crypto. First, Elon sells his Bitcoin, and now Michael Saylor. Rumors are people watching his wallet, maybe MicroStrategy's dumping their Bitcoin. And if that's the case, what's going to happen to Bitcoin? It's all going to zero, like Warren Buffett said.
I saw this really interesting tweet last night about the exact time that Tesla and Elon sold their Bitcoin. It was just before the Do Kwon Terra Luna stuff. So it was like they're saying that they all shorted it and whatever, and it was Elon who caused the crash.
Yeah, I mean,
Celsius and all that. It was pretty funny. So.
There was an article about that somebody wrote, not about the Terra Luna, but about Elon and this and that. And I just wrote in a comment. I said, listen, if it was Apple that had bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and Tim Cook on the earnings call said we sold it,
yeah,
would anybody be making a big deal, or is it only because it's Elon? And it's like it's 1.5 billion. And I don't know when they sold it, but they sold it last quarter. And I would presume they did it in multiple sales. I have no idea. But whatever. Bitcoin trades like 60 or 70 billion a day. So come on, people, keep it in perspective. And I don't know if Elon is correct, if he's blowing smoke, but they said on the earnings call, the reason why they sold it was because of the lockdown in Shanghai. They didn't know how long it would last, and they wanted a cash position. Now, that may be total bullcrap. I have no idea. It's like Elon buying Twitter. He said it was for free speech. I have no idea if that's true or not, because it doesn't look like he was trying to buy it to make money. That's not a money maker, Twitter. So I who knows? But I wonder what the maxis will be touting if indeed at first Elon sells. Although Elon said they would be interested in getting back in maybe at some point. But then if Michael Saylor sells, I mean, he's the Peter Schiff for the Bitcoin world. Well, Peter Schiff is to gold about what Saylor is to Bitcoiners. And it's like, what if their holy God decides to dump Bitcoin? And I have no idea if he is or isn't. But again, Bitcoin is probably much bigger than any institution. It's much bigger than Tesla, than MicroStrategy. And quite frankly, you don't need Wall Street to make it viable long term.
And that's our Bitcoin talk, followed by Ethereum next. No, just joking.
I'm sure you're watching closely the merge coming up. And did you see Vitalik's? I guess he talked about next there's the surge and the purge and the splurge. And, because he says, well, after this update, we're only like 40% complete. We still have more to go. And he has these catchy names. And
I pay no attention to what Vitalik does and does not do.
I'll have to find the article and I'll have to forward it to you. I'll go. What I'll do for you, John, is I'll go through all your old posts and I'll leave it in the comment section of each post, just so you can find it.
Perfect. That sounds like an awesome thing, and
I'll send it out on Twitter with linking you. I'll send it to your Discord. I'll join the CTP Discord. Put it in there. I'll see if Blaine will put it in your personal CTP developer or whatever you call it, Discord.
Yeah.
Well, what's your email? Send me your email. I'll email it to you too.
Yeah, it's I love Ethereum at gmail.com.
Yeah. Just send me your phone number too on Discord. I'll text you to make sure you have it, and send me your wife's just so in case you lose it, your phone.
She'll got it right.
I'll text it to her just so she has it. I know you want this article.
It's deep information that I cannot live without. How am I existing right now without this information about Ethereum and Vitalik? Anyways, guys,
you are a warrior spirit. I can tell you. You're somehow managing to persevere in spite of it.
I'm doing my best.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Now that we've got through the Ethereum, the Vitalik, and the Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor,
well, we got Cardano next, so we got Hodgkinson.
I know nothing about Cardano. Like I know nothing about it at all. Like
Hodgkinson and that's it.
This is the Ethereum killer. It's been the Ethereum killer since I started in crypto.
Like, well, I thought EOS was the first Ethereum.
Oh yeah,
killer.
that was EOS. Yeah. Anyways, I like my little hive. I like my little use case. I can use this every day, and the price goes up, it goes down. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to use it. I like that. The what if factor is interesting, but I'm not going to base my life around it in crypto. And a lot of this stuff has got a big what if. What if Cardano
there's a huge what if factor with Hive too, which is awesome. I mean, what we've been.
But it's a good what if. It's not like a what if this stuff actually works.
Yeah,
that's where most of the crypto is. What if we actually figure this out? Anyways, let's get into your questions, guys. Sharing screen for all you awesome people viewing. Are you ready? Was the name. Hold on, let me adjust this. And my child is crying in the background, which should be fun. We'll add awesome sound effects. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the events today. It will be fun listening to children scream. So when I'm going to mute my mic and scream to my family for them to stop screaming. Sounds good?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get into it. First up, we got Jimmy. He said, I know this question has come up multiple times, but I figure every week things change. So here it goes. What is the simplest way to use Fiat to purchase tokens on Hive or Hive itself, taking into consideration that you're in the U.S.? Now, I know Peak D you can buy it with the credit card right through Peak D. Can you do that in the States? Do you have that ability?
I haven't looked, honestly. It's been so long since I used Fiat to buy crypto. I don't know. My MO was Coinbase. Swap Fiat on Coinbase I use Litecoin just because it's very quick and very inexpensive to use. I send it through block trades and swap it for Hive. I mean and it's been a long time since I've done that, but that's how I get to it. A lot of the apps and stuff like that. I mean, I guess I could look into FTX. That's a big exchange in the U.S. BlockFi, I think, was pretty big here, but they seem to be getting in a lot of trouble and stuff like that. What do you use, John? Crypto.com? Is that what you use?
I use crypto.com, not the onboard, but more the offboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're pretty seamless. I mean, well, see, it depends. Like America, you guys have funny regulations. Like sometimes you can use it as easy as Coinbase. Like Coinbase is link your bank card, bam, you're good to go. But then there's other things where you can't do this, you can't do that. So it all depends on the situation with the platform and like what country you're in. So I would assume the easiest, if you can do it, is just go straight through Peak D. And in the back, there's literally a service that they have plugged in where you can buy Hive with your credit card. That's probably the easiest way if you can do that. If not, what Tass said, that's kind of been my gold standard for buying crypto. My bank account linked to Coinbase. I'd buy Litecoin, and then I would flip it either on Hive Engine, but mostly on block trades. That was always my way of onboarding and purchasing.
And you have to also take into account the fees. I mean, again, if they charge 5% or 7% for using that credit card through Peak D, I mean, if you're buying $500, okay, what's the big deal? That's 25 bucks,
Right.
$30. But if you're looking to buy 5,000, that could add up into some serious cash. And so, it's just one of those things. There's other options out there. If you go to hive.io or hive.io, I think it's hive.io or
It's
hive.io.
Hive.io. Yeah.
No, the account. If you scroll through the on
Oh,
PG backslash, I think it's hive.io or it might be hive.io. But you scroll through there, they announce all the agreements, and there's a bunch of different entities that they've gotten in with over the last, I don't know, 6 or 9 months that allow for credit card and things like that.
right.
I don't know any of them. I haven't checked any of them out, but they might be worth looking into.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Hive.io is the official account on the
Okay,
blockchain.
hive.io.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. Hope that helps, Jimmy. I know it's tricky on different situations, and obviously in Canada it's a lot different than the States, but then in the States you guys got some interesting rules and regulations too. So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah. DevPress, how do you guys view the NFT projects? Do you find any value in them, or do you invest in them? I'd love to know your direction, excuse me, on this, so I can course correct my views too.
My view is very simple.
Mm.
From what I know about NFTs, it's garbage. Now, that comes with a caveat. I think the technology has incredible potential. I just think right now, legitimate use case is lacking. It's too early. What we have seen so far is a lot of fluff. That said, going back to John's favorite word, utility, the NFTs that do have some utility, i.e., tied to a game or tied to some type of, let's say, income, maybe, or some type of access or right or something like that, those could have value. So obviously, we know Splinterlands cards is probably the best example, certainly the best example on Hive by far. And we know Splinterlands cards have value, and that certain Splinterlands cards, because of A, their scarcity, but B, because of the powers and the attributes and the capabilities within the game, they have serious value. And from that perspective, if you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for. I think, this is just my hypothesis. John is actually somebody living this. But if somebody takes that approach like John does and they follow it and they study it and they go after certain cards that they feel have values, these NFTs, and that's what the cards are, due to the capabilities in the game plus the potential forecasting of the market based upon scarcity and whatever other attributes and characteristics people are using to judge. I think that could be very viable as an investment opportunity. But as we've seen with Axie Infinity, you have to be careful. I mean, yes, I know Splinterlands has taken a beating in the price of the cards. Axie Infinity's done the same thing. I'm a little more positive on Splinterland simply because I know there's a lot more development. I know they're ushering in new things. They're not Ponziing it. I mean, we had Bulldog on, and he talked about how most of these games are glorified Ponzi's, which Splinterland is moving further and further away from that. So I think there's reason within that realm to be optimistic about the NFTs. But if you're just looking at a broad picture, ultimately, I think there will be value. I just think it's too early in the game. John, you have to turn your mic on. Looks like he may have froze. Oh, there he is. Hello? Seems like John may not be part of this conversation. John, turn your mic on.
Sorry. You hear me now?
Yeah, I didn't realize you had
Yeah.
World War III going on in the
Hello.
background.
Hello.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Elon's interwebs are acting up on me right now, and I have World War III
gotcha. You're
going on, so
freezing
I
up.
muted myself. And then, anyways, I digress. Yes.
Yeah, Eric said I'm a one-man show. I'll have to figure out something to talk about.
Well, no, I
I
heard
exhausted
absolutely
the
everything.
NFTs.
I heard everything. So yes, Splinterlands. Use cases is the only thing that matters to me with NFTs. They're cool, they're nice, they're pretty, but if it doesn't do anything for my life, I'm not an artistic collector. I don't want to go and look at the Mona Lisa. It serves, and that's what NFTs are for me personally. If there's use case on them, like Splinterlands, I'm all for it. I love it. It's great. It makes total sense to me. I get that. I understand that. So I agree with you. I think the tech for this stuff is fascinating. The tech for this stuff opens up so many different things, but unless you have a use case behind an NFT, it's literally looking at a painting.
Well, I think we talk the traditional, if you can call it traditional, but the traditional industries that NFTs probably most aligned with are like music, uh, movies, things of that nature, in terms of rights and payments and things of that nature, and certainly that holds incredible potential. But then we could assign it to other things that are revenue generating or income generating assets too, and I think that could be a lot of potential. But again, it comes down to utility. What's it tied to? What's it do?
Yep. Yep. Good question, DevPress. TBBG is up. He said, what impact do you foresee on Hive once this regulation thing has started to be implemented in the coming months? I'm not sure what regulation thing he might be referencing, but maybe just as well, I mean, I don't know how you regulate Hive. It's decentralized. It is what it is. It's its own thing. If that's what you're referring to, maybe I'm missing something. Is there some big regulation thing happening? Or?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff all over the place. I mean, I guess I don't know if it's a U.S. based opinion. It could be the potential bill that is being floated in Congress that talks about stable coins and banking licenses and being registered under, I think it's FINRA. But again, who the hell is going to go and register HBD? I mean, that it gets to be that simple. Who's going to even go and fill out the paperwork? There is no company behind this. So if there's nobody even to go onto the website and fill out the website because nobody's responsible for it, who the hell are they going to go in and knock on their door? I mean, it's like, not my problem. No. Well, you didn't register HBD. It's not my job, man. I have nothing to do with that. Go to Block Trades. I have nothing to do with that. They call me Dan. I'm in Mexico, man. Hell, leave me alone. Go to Starkers, go to the Witnesses, go to anybody. It's like, dude, I just run some infrastructure. Go to Blaine. Blaine will tell you to go pound sand. It's like I run a little infrastructure here. I don't control this network.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with it. I'm not running it. I run one node. And I do a little block validation once every, 75 or 90 blocks or something.
I think Hive is fine, but then again, I'm pretty biased. So
I think Hive and Bitcoin will really stand out because you don't have the Vitaliks or the Hodgkinsons or the Dan Larimers or that big overwhelming wallet there with 25, 30, 40% of the stake. You just don't have that on it. Biggest stakeholder is still Freedom, and nobody after 6 years knows who the hell that is.
It's me secretly, no.
Well, it may be you secretly, but guess what? Nobody can prove it, and nobody knows.
There you go. Hope that helps. NFT BBG. Next up, we got Charlotta Success Char. She said, I want to not only build a community, but I want to create a token for the community, not only for rewarding content, but being a tipping token. I also want to make an income token like Index, Bro, D-Hedge. I've already made the community page, but I need to know more about bots, white papers, and just how it all works. Do you need a front end or do you need your own server? Sorry, do you need a front end and your own server? I don't have a huge email list, but I think I have enough of a following and connections here on Hive to take the next step. So this is a really good question. Go ahead, sorry.
If I could jump in,
Yep.
much like the NFTs, I think this one is too early because keep in mind with Hive, a lot of what's being done is still building of infrastructure. And the goal is where anybody can seamlessly set up a community, spin up a token, and do this stuff without much difficulty and also without a ton of money. And right now, that's just not possible. You need you can either go through Hive Engine, which costs you an arm and a leg, or you can go use Deluxe, but then you need the technical skill set. And, right now, I think the idea of building a community is great. It's just, I think it's too early for the average person, unless you have somebody like Blaine tied to your community who has the skill set to navigate some of this stuff. It's very difficult. But I have a feeling by the end of this year, maybe by the end of the first quarter, I think we'll be in a different position because there's some people working on some infrastructure that could potentially change it and make it a lot easier. And the goal should be just like setting up a Hive account. You can spin up a token for, a few bucks at most, and it's very easy. It takes you 30 seconds, and you're rocking and rolling. And we're just not to that point yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick through this here and just share, what we did. Just like you said, it's not as easy as just plug and play. Tribal Dex tries to make it that way, but you still need like a technical know-how on how to do it. But the bots, that's all coded. You can't go and buy that. Blaine figured that out and did it himself. Just use sitting down and writing and distribution. A lot of this stuff, again, is not plug and play. It is, you have to know it, you have to learn it, you have to figure it out. When I got started, I basically, talked to Cal and I was like, I love how you set up Leo. I'm going to do exactly the token distribution you did. And he's like, cool. So it was totally Leo. Like CTP was built up like Leo was with the tokenomics, but there was no outline. There was no like Hive Engine didn't provide you a step-by-step guide on how to set this up. There's nothing like that. Nothing at all. But if you can host with them, which costs an arm and a leg, or you can do like we did, and we have it hosted on our own server. But there's a lot to it. And that's not only talking about the price. I think to get everything set up like we've got it with, not only the mining token. I mean, you're looking at 7,000 B tokens, and I think B is 20 cents each or something like that. So thousands of dollars this would cost just to set it up, and that's not setting it up and getting a detailed instruction manual on how to do it. That's just getting you set up and then figuring it out on your own. So there's a lot to it. The tipping bots, that's a complete custom thing. I don't know if anyone else offers that. I know Blaine did ours for CTP, but everything else, income tokens, is its own token. You got to learn distribution. You got to learn how to tokenomics work. So there's no step-by-step guide, which would be, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, if anyone wanted to be savvy, there could be a big business opportunity there for you. Set these things up for people. There's, entrepreneurial spirit. Set these things up for people. Someone will pay you to do it or something. I don't know. That's just me being an entrepreneur. But yeah, hope that doesn't deter you too much, Charlotta. It probably did. But, yeah. Yeah. That's my experience with it. You there?
No? Yeah, I mean, I can't counter your experience. I mean,
it is a blast. And we got Matt Pat the Fire said, what is the current status of Leo glossary? How is the best way, and how is the best way to deal with FOMO? So give us an update, man, on Leo glossary. And then the best way to deal with FOMO is just buy everything. Buy it all.
Why are you having FOMO when the market's crashing? FOMO's for the bull run, but bears are for the bloodbath and the, holy crap, I got to unload everything because Elon and Sailor are selling, so I got to sell too. The best way to deal with FOMO is you're an immature, emotional being, and step back, take a deep breath, and say, markets are insane. Let me analyze this and look at my plan and look at my long-term plan and see what's going on. That's how you avoid FOMO. Is you have to separate the emotion of the market, either greed or fear, whichever is being driven within you at a given time, and make sensible decisions based upon your risk management, your time frames, your goals, the projects you're invested in or know about, and take a sensible approach, whatever that is. And if you use dollar cost averaging every 1,000 points, or whether you do use dollar cost averaging every 2 weeks, or you decide to take, each time you get $500 put together, you go buy. I mean, whatever your rules are for yourself, set them down and stick to them, regardless of what the market's doing. And if you do get a big pullback and you have some extra money and there's a project you're very high on, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's CTP, whether it's Leo, whether it's Hive, whether it's whatever, if you're very high on the project and you're looking long term and you see a significant drop, well, if you have some extra money, maybe that's a time to buy and say, I know I may not be buying at the bottom, but if it goes down another 20%, I don't care because I'm looking 5 years from now. That's how you get away from the FOMO and just realize the insanity and lack of logic of markets. Leo glossary. Leo glossary is growing. It's expanding. I've been working this week on the Leo finance section. It's ultimately the main menu is going to be broken up into different pages. I'm trying to decide the mapping of it, if you will, the mental map of how it's going to flow, and from the main page on to try to optimize it a little bit for the bots, the search engine bots. So I got to figure that out. But I think, and then we have Gadrian working when he can on the Splinterlands terms. I don't know if it was up on Tuesday, if I mentioned, but we put up the Splinter Glossy, and he immediately added like 80 or 90 words, and he's been going and defining them and setting up separate pages there with them. So it's plugging along slowly. I think, probably if I had to guess, maybe 450 words right now. So we'll probably cross 500 next week. And some of the ones I've gone in and I rewrote, like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, I rewrote them and added to them and things of that nature. So it's just expanding. It's growing. It's a long-term project, and I'll probably be doing this a year from now, just adding more terms and that type of thing, because I think there's tremendous potential having a glossary. If for no other reason, forget the search engine. If for no other reason, as an education and a resource center, I think it's extremely valuable.
Yeah, it's the high version of Wikipedia for this stuff, right? I mean, I know.
I call it more like Investopedia because I'm very focused. It's cryptocurrency, finance, business, money, that type of thing, investing, right. With also the Splinterlands, which is kind of under the crypto umbrella, especially Splinterlands and Hive. And I'll probably end up creating a Hive page, which will have a lot of the definitions. I mean, I put up resource credits and I put up DPoS and stuff like that, but I'll probably end up having it a page set up exclusively for Hive, proof of brain and Hive and HBD and high power and delegating and resource credits. And I'll let John write me up something for mana so that we know what that is.
Yep, and vests.
And vests too. Yep, we'll do the old and vests. Explain what they are. I mean, actually, we say that tongue in cheek, but that's exactly the reason for something like this, because people ask what the hell is an MVest, and John and I are sitting here saying, we kind of know, but we really don't know. And it's like, we think we know, but well, it's an MVest. What's an MVest? Well, it's mana. What's mana? Well, that's resource credits. What's resource credits? Well, it's just high power. I mean, that's what we do. So just think of high power and don't worry about the rest. And maybe that's enough for most people, and maybe that's all we need to know. But at least if you understand what some of this is, or you have a reference point when somebody brings it up, then at least we can go look at it and say, oh, it says this is what it is. And, even if you forget it 3 seconds after you read it, at least it's there to be consumed as the content. So that's where it is. I would hope that other people are starting to think about doing something similar with a database and a glossary and terms or concepts for different groups, because I think it's very valuable, A, as a resource for those groups, but B, also for Hive in general. I mean, if we just think of all the different things that we can do. I mean, even within Leo Glossary. I mean, what if we started getting into crypto personalities, names like Vitalik and Hutchinson and people like that? Or you get into companies like Apple and Tesla and Facebook and Amazon. I mean, you can just start expanding this out more and more and more. And it's just fascinating how it can grow.
Very nice. Yeah, it opens it up, and imagine if this is just a community project too, where everyone gets in on it, and it could be quite the little resource for search engine optimization.
Well, that and just what people in the community are needing. I mean, if you get, let's say you set something like this up with CTP, and all of a sudden somebody comes to the CTP page, and there's a link there to the CTP glossary, let's say, and it has all different terms associated with your business and with what you promote and all of a sudden members of the community have a resource there. So it's like, what is this? Well, go look at the glossary, and if it's not in there, email us and we'll add it. But then somebody who's new can all of a sudden just use that as an education center and say, oh, okay, I've seen that's what affiliate marketing means. Oh, that's what click per pay means. Oh, that's what this means. Oh, that's what content. Oh, that's what they mean by content blog posts. Oh, I understand. What is Hive? Oh, now I see what Hive is. I mean, hell, what I'm writing up, see, this is where the cross-pollination. If you guys did that with CTP and what is Hive, or you could take that right, what I've already written. It's already out there. You copy, paste it, put it in your own database there. It's already written. What is cryptocurrency? Well, we'll just take what Tass did and copy what he did and throw it in, put it in our own URL. Well, it's on the blockchain. You can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just already done.
I have it written down from our last talk. This is one of my notes, glossary for affiliate marketing. I actually wrote that down on Tuesday because I was like, that'd be pretty cool to do with CTP. Because we're going to get into affiliate marketing theory. Search engine optimization. I've always said SEO stands for search engine optimist, because it takes an awful lot of effort to get optimized, and you're basically fighting against AdWords. So
now
it's,
Now, let me ask you a question. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Is SEO a big part of affiliate marketing?
I mean, it was, black hat tactics, decade ago or so. I'm guessing the amount of effort I've put into my SEO over the years is this. I just never messed with it. I did everything organically. I always thought that the best way to rank. What Google really wants is natural and organic discovery, right? Like they don't want you to game the system. They have the game.
Yeah.
So they want it as organic as possible. So I always said, I'm not going to fight against it. I'm not going to try to master this, because they can switch the algorithm up in a second and all my work is for naught. So how about I just create content? So this is where this glossary comes in. You're just creating content.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's a search term. There's content. It's going to be linked to everything. That to me is organic, rather than trying to game the system and try to figure out what Google is going to want. And so for me, it was always just write blog posts, man. Just write. That's it. That was the extent of my SEO experience over 20
Now, what's your
years.
view of internal linking, where you link your own content with more of your own content that is applicable, if you will? Like if you do this affiliate marketing glossary and you have a term there, and in the definition of the term you use another affiliate marketing term,
another internal link to the
I mean, as you've seen, if you look at any of the Leo glossary, I mean, sometimes I'll have 20 different links in that description page for one term.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all internal links right back to the main, well, it doesn't go back to main menu, it goes directly to the other term, but it's all tied to the main menu page.
You know who's a really good guy to talk to about this? Because I know he has a lot of experience in this type of arena. Bitcoin Flood. Go poke around and ask him what he would think, because me and him kind of got started at the same time in this affiliate marketing stuff. He actually worked for some pretty sizable companies and affiliate marketers over the years. He might be much more well-versed in the SEO side, if that's pro or con. Me, myself, again, SEO attention was zero. If there's too many links, I think that's just the user experience. Like, we'll click if there's like every single word is a link, which I've seen people do. So on a user, but it's not.
I don't know.
You know, sorry.
I just look at what Wikipedia did, and it's like, I mean, every paragraph, it's like just 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 links to other Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, and that obviously works. I mean, you Google anything, and the Wikipedia thing usually comes up. I mean, but that's all. Wikipedia is
huge.
It's totally organic, right? It's completely like they don't pay for any of that. It's community based, and it's totally organic.
Well, and they have 150 billion pages or whatever. Exactly. They have who knows how many links through all those pages. Then they have who knows how many external links, because they become a resource and a go-to, and somebody's writing an article on their blog and they quote Wikipedia. Fortune quotes Wikipedia, all these places.
Dude, all I do is sit around and, like, people click like YouTube videos over and over again. I click Wikipedia links all the time. Like I was literally searching for rooster sriracha sauce this morning and started clicking links on Wikipedia and started reading about the different chili peppers.
Now you know how to drill a new septic tank.
Now I know how to drill a new septic tank. Yeah, perfect.
and fire a rocket to the moon, because they all came up with the links.
It's the way to do it, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of people go both ways, and some people are saying too many links are a bad thing. But Wikipedia and Investopedia, I mean, then I've seen a lot of articles that internal linking is very important, because the worst thing to have on a web page is orphan pages. Of course, we have to keep in mind the problem with everything that we're doing, and you guys have a little bit bigger advantage than I have, because you actually control your website. I don't control Leo Finance, so Cal would have to do some overall optimization. But at the end of the day, I think it's a little different if you had your johngolson.com, and it was a blog page. It was maybe you had a market and a cart where you sold products, and you do your content and you create the whole menu map for the page, versus a social media thing like we have here. You know, they're talking often pages where, John, you put up that page from this link and it doesn't go anywhere. Bring it back to your main page. I think that's a little different than somebody, you know, typing a post in Peak D that uses the Leo or the CTP tag, and there's no other link to any other pages on the site. So I think that's a drawback to Leo Finance CTP. And also, as I found out, a lot of what I'm doing is helping Highblog, because Highblog gets the, I guess they're not getting the canonical, am I saying that properly? Canonical traffic ranking, because that goes to Leo Finance, but they rank higher than Leo Finance. So.
Yep, there you go. So I had to mute myself again because the dog is barking now. Now we got the little tiny dog barking. So extra awesome sound effects for tonight's show, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone's patience and their eardrums. Finally, we got Lisa, and she actually wanted to know about tipping bots as well. Is it a sizable investment, and where would you go to learn to do that? Sizable investment, probably because you'd have to get it coded. I don't think there's anyone that offers it. I think you kind of got to get a developer and do it. But I know it's out there because Pizza's got it. The Alive token's got it. CTP's got it. Lots of these people have it. It's just I have no idea where you would go. I just go to Blaine. That's what I do. So there you go. I'm going to mute myself while we have a rebuttal from Tass so I can go kick the little dog. I'll be right back.
I mean, I don't know what John said is accurate. Any of this stuff, you start getting into the algorithmic stuff, you're looking at having a developer. You're having to have somebody code it, and there's just no way around it. I mean, it's I guess you could say it's a cost of doing business like rent is to a traditional business. Coding costs and getting stuff designed and produced. And if you have somebody who's a stakeholder in the entity like Blaine, well, then that's his part in the process. But if not, you have to do, well, like Cal did with Leo Finance. Everything you see there, Cal's not a programmer. He pays for that. Speak Network, Dan and Matt are not programmers. They pay for that. You know, you got two choices. It's like if you're a graphic artist. If you're a graphic artist, you can create your own stuff. If you're not, you got to pay somebody to create your logos and whatnot if you want them professionally done. So that's the only thing I could say add to that is, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way around it. Maybe the only thing that I can think of is maybe poke around. Maybe there's some open source software out there that generic tipping bots. I don't know. You know, maybe that's hit the market because, you know, hell, I can go get Open Office or Office Libre or whatever it's called, and that's just an open version of Microsoft Office. So, you know, there may be some bots out there that you can start to grab and throw them on your server and work. I don't know.
I think the key with this, though, and this is really important, there's got to be a use case for the token. One of the things that, you know, I don't want to toot our own horn because, you know, God knows CTP is not the first token that comes to mind when people think about second layers on Hive. But the CTP token, the tokenomics of it is really solid. There's actual use case for it. We didn't create a pool, a rewards pool. We're self-funding it. The token, there's an actual use case and desire to have CTP tokens. So if you're just tipping XYZ token, like you see these things when people make comments on blogs, there's like 20 of these tipping things. I couldn't even tell you what half of these things are. Like, there's got to be, I think, a use case. I think that's the priority for anyone thinking of a tipping bot or anyone thinking of getting a front end or a community or anything, because it is a sizable investment. It is going to be a lot of learning. There's no step-by-step guide that Tribal Dex or Hive Engine provides. You're going to have to figure a lot of this out on your own. I think the big the main point you should be working on is developing the use case for the token. That's first and foremost, because if you do that, that's first of all, it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. So while you're doing that, developing it, you'll be learning, you'll be, discovering stuff and researching. Maybe there is an open source version of it. Is there GitHubs for it? Who knows? You'll have to discover that. And maybe then by the time you've been working on developing the token and getting the use case, maybe someone does come out with a plug and play version of something. But the priority, I think, for anyone even thinking of this is getting the use case of the token, developing the community, then get into, funding these things. So that'd be my opinion.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to what's the reason for the community? Why does it exist? Where are you going with the community? What is it? And if that's the case, then what can spring up around it? What is the utility of the token? Are you going to use it for access to certain things, to insider stuff? Is it going to be used as a medium of exchange for people to sell goods and purchase and sell goods and services? Right. What is it? What the hell is your community about? Are you a bunch of hobbyists? Well, if you're a bunch of hobbyists, do you need a token? What's the point? Maybe just set up a decentralized community on Hive for you to come together and exchange recipes or do whatever. And then, of course, maybe down the road in 6 months, you figure a use case. And maybe you don't have it today, so you don't worry about it. And 6 months later, you realize, hey, we need a token.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, maybe the community is the best thing. Set up the community. It's an investment of 3 Hive. Set up the community, work on that, build that up, then take it to that next level.
Yeah, and maybe that's where you put your resources to getting your front end, to getting your website going, because as we know, maybe it's better to have your own website than just using a tag through Peak D, which right. That may work till you get that built. It depends on your resources, how much money you have and how much expertise you have, and if there's somebody in your community who can spin up a website, or if you can tie it into WordPress or something like that. I mean, I know that there's a lot of stuff out there these days. Talk about open source. I mean, websites aren't very complicated like they were in the 1990s when you had to find somebody who could code in Java and create a website from scratch. So it's, think of it about it as a business. Map this stuff out. Where are you going? What are you doing? Have some ideas. You don't have to have exact plans, but have some general ideas. And then, of course, you can see what evolves as other people get involved in the community, comes up with different ideas.
Do you want to know what's terrifying, Task? But you're talking about the good old days, like the old times. I actually knew how to build HTML websites way back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah. Open tag, close tag. Yeah. HTML, man. Yeah, anyways, that's the extent of my developing experience. Great week. Apologize again for the technical difficulties with Elon and his Starlink, but also the barking dogs, the screaming kids. I muted myself a couple times when my kid kind of ran into the office here and did like twirl around. It was quite interesting how he stood on one foot and did like a pirouette or something and took off running again. So there's that.
What would be what's even more impressive is that was your oldest son. He's 20 years old doing that.
I know. Yeah.
You could see if it was your toddler, but
I can't get my oldest kid out here. I try. He helped us move out here, and that was it. So that was like a couple months ago, and like he hasn't been back. I keep calling him, like come out, spend the weekend. Like, yeah, no. He's like, no, I'm too cool for you, Dad. Like I have things to do, and yeah, so it's okay. My younger kids still think I'm cool, so that's fine.
Dude, they're hardly potty trained. So you're saying that'll disappear by the time they're in like elementary school?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Mommy will be cool. Daddy will be a loser. That's okay. I'll write about it. Yeah.
Well, you can cry about that along with the price of Ethereum dropping and Michael Saylor selling his Bitcoin. Actually, I guess Ethereum's up. It's not dropping. It went up, I guess. I don't know. Oh wait, no, it was Ethereum Classic. Maybe that's what
Oh.
we need, is a show not on Ethereum, but Ethereum Classic. I mean, it's bad enough with Ethereum. Now we go with Ethereum Classic, which.
Who wants to see John Rage quit?
Well, here's the deal. It's easy to find some people who own Ethereum. Do you know anybody who owns Ethereum Classic? It's like, I've never owned Ethereum.
Addy Torrent does. I know he does. Remember Addy Torrent? No, he's on Hive. He was the old content creator. Did a lot of stuff on DTube and stuff. He's part of the D Daily family, and he used to talk about Ethereum Classic all the time. He does all the coffee posts. He does pictures and videos of him drinking in London. Great guy. Met him at Steamfest. He was a great dude. So big shout out to Addy Torrent. Hope you're enjoying your coffee, sir. Guys, that's a great show, and I'm gonna tap out of here before something goes array. I'm getting low bars here with my connection with Elon and Starlink. I don't know what's going on today. It's just been a gong show. Thank you for listening. Who do we got on Tuesday, man?
Logical Dude.
Logical Dude is here back on the 26th. So check that out. See what he's doing with his music apps and stuff, and everything with Hive List as well. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good to each other. And remember, go and buy Ethereum Classic. Toodles.